Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Louisiana and maps and Republicans and fractions and deja vu. And this is going to sound real familiar if you paid attention to some recent coverage. Okay, so Republicans in Louisiana were in front of a federal appeals court and they were talking and arguing about maps. They don't want to change them. So, Louisiana is 1/3 black. However, only 1 out of 6 districts has a majority black population. Sounds like Alabama, right? Sounds like that whole storyline because it's pretty similar. And it actually factors into it and came up in the discussions because basically what they're trying to figure out is whether or not Louisiana needs to follow the guidance that came down from the Supreme Court when they decided that Alabama's maps likely violated the Voting Rights Act. It's the same story playing out again. You have 1/3 of the state, and it's being, I guess, represented by 1/6. So obviously, voting rights activists and advocates are trying to get the maps to be more representative in our representative democracy. Republicans are opposed to this. So, one of the questions that came in after this news broke was from somebody in Louisiana. And I looked into it and I talked to somebody from Louisiana to answer this question. Is Louisiana as bad when it comes to gerrymandering as Alabama or Wisconsin? Not really. When you look at the maps, no. Sometimes you can look at a map and you're like, wow, that's gerrymandered. After talking to somebody from Louisiana and looking at the map, they seem to be under the impression that you could actually come up with the Louisiana map trying to keep communities of interest together and being, quote, colorblind. Not paying attention to that as a factor, like in any way, and you could still come up with a map pretty close to this. Well, I don't know that I entirely believe that. I think that's just too convenient. It takes a lot of work to make that kind of coincidence happen. But it is not as bad as Alabama's was. It's not as bad as Wisconsin's is. But the outcome, no matter how the map was created, even if it was created with good intentions, the outcome is still the same. Communities of interest, keeping communities of interest together, that's important. However, if that is used as an excuse or even just by happenstance, it dilutes the voting power of a specific demographic by this much. You have to realign the maps. I mean, you should. Now, as far as what the judges are going to say, at time of filming, we don't know. And normally during these hearings, you can tell the way they're leaning based on the questions they ask. In this case, the judges were like, yeah, don't try to do that right now. And the judges themselves, from what I was able to find with a quick glance, you really can't tell. 2 of them were appointed by Bush, 1 by Carter. And they seem kind of middle of the road at first glance. Now, I didn't dig into every single ruling, but normally I have a hunch on how it's going to go. In this case, I really don't. In some cases, the same judge kind of sent mixed signals about what they were thinking at the time. So the judges themselves may not have decided yet. But it's the same storyline as Alabama. It's playing out in the exact same way. It does not seem like Republicans in Louisiana are just gonna defy, the rulings. But I mean, I guess we'll wait and see what happens. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.